Welcome back, everyone. Today's lesson is about how to punctuate your sentences. Thank you very much for joining this session. As many students were asking me to provide a session about how to punctuate your sentences, this is going to be it. Let's begin. Sentence punctuations are absolutely important. Consider it this way. Punctuations are considered as the emotion of your sentences. When you speak, you raise your voice, you drop your voice, you pause when you're speaking. That's going to be the emotion of your sentences. When you write, however, the punctuation will have the same effect in your writing. Within your sentences, if you're having simple sentences in any setting, either you're a professional writer, you're a researcher, as well as taking any professional test, for example, IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, LSAT, SAT test, these rules that you're going to learn are absolutely essential for everyone to follow, and make sure that you share this video with your partners and comment in the comment box below, and follow the ending videos that I post. And if you like the channel, more than welcome to subscribe. If you have the simple sentences, step one is the pattern is you have one idea within the sentence. It's an independent clause. Basically, if I say a sentence with one subject, one verb, that is considered as a simple sentence. Doctors are concerned about rising the death rate from the asthma. It's considered as a simple sentence. For simple sentences, at the end of the idea, you only need a full stop or period. When it comes to compound sentences, which is the second type of sentences that we have, you must have a comma to pause, basically, comma. In speech or in your verbal communication, you pause when you speak. And it is important to have that in your writing. It shows your writing that it is more organized and it is better looking. It's not a chaos in the by the end of the sentence. And then this comma must precede the connectors. Connectors are considered as and, for, but, or, nor, so, and yet. You put comma before them. I give you an example. If I say doctors are concerned about the rising death rate from asthma, comma, but they don't know the reasons for it. The third type of sentences and the punctuation related to it will be considered as the second type of punctuation. For example, when you have but in here, you have one punctuation which is preceding the connector as comma, and then you have another punctuation at the end, which is a period or a full stop. There are two independent clauses. There are two complete ideas in compound sentences. You have one comma before and you have period at the end. Sometimes there is another pattern of punctuation. You have semicolon before and period after. I explained the difference between semicolon and comma momentarily. For example, you say doctors are concerned about rising death rate from asthma. They are unsure of its cause. When you have semicolon, in here we say doctors. In the second sentence, we say they. If you have a pronoun in the second sentence, such as this one, they, that is related to a noun in the first sentence, for example, doctors in this case, you definitely need a semicolon. This is the key element. Don't forget to have the period at the end of a sentence to clarify the meaning. The next style of punctuation in the compound sentences is you have semicolon, you also have comma, and you also have a period. This is busy somehow. How do you do that? You have independent clauses. Imagine you have more than one complete ideas or more than one complete sentence. We call them independent ideas. We say, for example, we have some conjunctions such as therefore, moreover, thus, consequently, however, and also. If you have any of those, you must have both punctuation applied, semicolon before the conjunctions and comma after. Don't forget period at the end of a sentence. For example, in here, we have semicolon before therefore, which is the correct punctuation. We have comma after, and we have a period at the end of your sentence. For complex sentences as the next level of punctuation, because the nature of complex sentences is one complete idea and one or two or more incomplete ideas or dependent clauses that we consider, the punctuation would be slightly different. If I have the conjunctions such as because, before, since, while, although, if, until, when, after, as, or as if, then I need to have one comma in between and then period at the end. So you always have the conjunctions before the dependent clauses. In this case, doctors are concerned about rising death rate is a dependent clause when because is at the beginning. The meaning is incomplete. You must have followed that with a comma and have your complete sentence or independent clauses, and you have comma before and period after. The next pattern of punctuation is when you have your independent clause, dependent clause, and then dependent clause again. This might be a little bit of a confusion on that end. When I make an example, it'll give you a better understanding. You have period at the end, of course. You have some conjunctions such as because, before, since, while, although, if, until, when, after, as if. And then because it appears in the second part of a sentence, you don't need any comma before because. In the previous sentence, you had because at the beginning of the sentence. If it appears at the beginning of a sentence, you need to follow that with a comma. If it appears in the second part of a sentence, you don't need any comma before that. But if you have more, for example, adjective, it is common, treatable, illness. That comma is appeared to separate two adjectives. What kind of illness? Common, treatable, illness. Adjectives, as I mentioned in my previous video, they appear before the nouns. Make sure you watch the previous video, adjectives and adverbs. They will help you to write better in business settings, in professional communication, in your presentation, as well as your test proficiency settings. The last pattern, which is the seventh pattern, I would say this pattern includes independent clauses. First part of a sentence. When you have independent clauses at the beginning, you need to have comma, and then we have non-essential clause or the phrase. You have another comma after that, then the rest of the clause will happen. For example, many doctors, including both pediatricians and family practice physicians, comma, are concerned about rising the death rate from asthma. You have one comma after many doctors, not to confuse the audience, your audience. You're always focusing on the audience, the tone of your writing, and the purpose of your writing. And then you follow that with a comma before the end of your sentence, and then you end your sentence with a period. The last pattern is when you have your independent clause at the beginning, then you have essential clause for the rest of the clause. For example, many doctors who are concerned about rising death rate because of this adjective clause that appears. I have another video about the adjective clauses and adverb clauses. They're very interesting and they're very popular. Make sure you use them in your writing because it makes your sentences more complex and more professional. And then you have one period at the end of a sentence. Don't forget to comment in the comment box below. My suggestion is write down a one sentence that is simple, compound, complex, or complex compound sentences within the chat box to practice. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next session.